What if the asphalt beneath your tires whispers tales of the lost, of spectral travelers bound to highways, and of creatures that defy the very fabric of our understanding, lurking just beyond the reach of your headlights? What if every stretch of lonely road, every forgotten turn, every dense, whispering forest along America's vast, sprawling network of highways holds secrets far older and more unsettling than any map could ever chart? Imagine yourself driving through the desolate heartland as twilight bleeds into an inky night, the only sound the hum of your engine and the rhythmic slap of tires against worn pavement. Have you ever felt that inexplicable chill, that prickle on the back of your neck, even when your windows are up and the heater is blasting, as if something unseen has just joined you in the silent confines of your vehicle? Welcome to a journey through the unseen, a voyage into the very marrow of American folklore, where we unravel the legends that cling to the very fabric of our asphalt arteries, a world where the line between reality and nightmare blurs with every mile marker you pass. Tonight, we plunge into the shadowy depths of these narratives, tales of vanishing hitchhikers, phantom vehicles, and the cryptids that guard the wild, untamed edges of our civilization, secrets perhaps best left undisturbed. Our first spectral companion on this journey through the American night is one of the most enduring and unsettling specters of the open road, the perpetual passenger, the vanishing hitchhiker. This isn't just one story, but a tapestry woven from countless whispered accounts, each thread adding to the chilling mosaic of a presence that appears from nowhere, seeks a ride, and then melts into the ether, leaving behind only a lingering scent of damp earth or forgotten perfume, and a profound sense of dread. Picture this: a torrential downpour batters your windshield, blurring the edges of the lonely, two-lane highway. You're miles from the nearest town, the radio static-ridden, when suddenly a figure materializes at the roadside, bathed in the fleeting glare of your headlights. They are usually young, often female, dressed in clothes that seem just a little out of time. Perhaps a white dress or a dated suit, their face pale, eyes wide with an unspoken plea. You pull over, a kindness born of isolation, and they slip into the passenger seat, not with a thank you, but with a quiet, almost imperceptible sigh. They give an address, often just a few miles down the road, to a house that appears abandoned, or a graveyard, or even a crumbling ruin. You drive, the silence in the car heavy, perhaps punctuated only by the rhythmic swish of the wipers. And then, when you glance over, when you turn to ask a question, the seat beside you is empty. No door opened, no sound of departure, just a sudden, bone-chilling void where moments before a person had been. This particular phenomenon often manifests near sites of past tragedies, the infamous resurrection. Mary of Archer Avenue outside Chicago, forever seeking a ride home from the Resurrection Cemetery, where her phantom dance halls now stand only in memory. Or the girl in white on Route 44 in Connecticut, an ethereal beauty last seen on her prom. Night, forever searching for the love she lost in a tragic accident. These spectral hitchhikers are not malicious. They are echoes of unfinished journeys, souls caught in a repetitive loop of their final moments, forever seeking passage to a home they can no longer truly reach. They are a poignant reminder that even the most mundane journey can, in an instant, become a brush with the inexplicable, leaving witnesses shaken, their beliefs in the tangible world irrevocably fractured by an encounter that defies all logic and explanation. the scent of ozone, the sudden drop in temperature, the lingering impression of a body on the seat beside you. These are the subtle proofs left behind, imprints of a spectral presence that rode with you through the encroaching darkness. As we leave the phantom passenger behind, our journey takes a darker turn, heading east towards the mysterious heart of West Virginia, a land shrouded in mist and ancient Appalachian lore, where the very air seems to hum with an unsettling energy. Here, in the sleepy town of Point Pleasant, nestled at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers, a series of sightings in the mid-1960s gave birth to one of America's most terrifying and enigmatic cryptids, the silent prophet of the Silver Bridge, the Mothman. Imagine the year is 1966, a time of palpable tension and simmering societal unease. For 13 harrowing months, the residents of Point Pleasant found themselves gripped by a pervasive, creeping terror as reports began to surface of a creature unlike any known to science, a being described by terrified eyewitnesses as standing 7 feet tall, with a massive wingspan, an unearthly gray or black skin, and most terrifyingly, glowing red eyes set into its chest, or perhaps its head, reflecting the beam of a car's headlights like malevolent twin embers. The sightings weren't just isolated incidents. They were a flurry, almost a plague, concentrated around an abandoned TNT plant near the town, and frequently along the dark, winding roads leading to and from it. Drivers recounted terrifying chases, the creature keeping pace with cars traveling at 80 miles per hour, its vast wings beating silently, a soundless pursuit that left them gasping for breath, their hearts hammering against their ribs. The creature was often observed perching atop the Silver Bridge, the iconic suspension bridge that connected Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, its enormous form a grotesque silhouette against the night sky, its crimson eyes burning like portents. What was this creature? Was it a mutated owl, a misidentified crane, or something far more sinister, an entity from another dimension, or perhaps a harbinger of doom? The terror culminated on December 15th, 1967, a day forever etched in the collective memory of the region, when the Silver Bridge, without warning, catastrophically collapsed during rush hour, plunging 46 people to their deaths in the icy waters of the Ohio River. Many survivors and townspeople believed, and still believe, that the Mothman was not just a creature, but a prophet, an omen, a silent, terrifying warning of the impending tragedy. Its glowing eyes, its silent flight, its unnerving presence, all seen as a desperate alien attempt to communicate a coming disaster that humanity was too blind or too unwilling to comprehend. Even decades later, the lingering shadow of the Mothman hangs heavy over Point Pleasant, a town forever linked to the spectral wings and burning eyes of a cryptid that defied explanation, a haunting reminder that some roads lead not just to places, but to revelations both profound and terrifying about the fragile boundary between our world and the unknown. The air around the reconstructed bridge still feels different to those who know the stories, a subtle hum, a lingering chill that suggests something vast and ancient once stood here, bearing silent witness to human frailty. Our journey continues, taking a sharp turn south and east, away from the Appalachian ridges and into the dense, brooding expanse of the New Jersey Pine Barrens, a vast, foreboding wilderness covering over 1 million acres, a landscape of gnarled pines, sandy soil, and stagnant bogs, where the silence is often broken only by the chirping of crickets and the whisper of the wind through the needles. This isolated primeval land, crisscrossed by countless unpaved roads and barely used tracks, has been the traditional hunting ground of one of America's oldest and most infamous cryptids, the beast of the barrens, the Jersey Devil. Imagine driving down one of these narrow, forgotten lanes at dusk, the trees pressing in, their branches clawing at the fading light, the air thick with the smell of damp pine needles and decaying leaves. The legend of the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, traces its origins back to the mid-18th century, born from a desperate curse uttered by a woman known only as Mother Leeds, who, having given birth to 12 children, supposedly cursed her 13th, declaring that she wished it to be a devil. And so the story goes. On a dark, stormy night in 1735, Mother Leeds gave birth not to a human child, but to a monstrous creature with the head of a horse, the wings of a bat, the body of a kangaroo, and cloven hooves, which immediately shrieked, flapped its wings, and escaped into the labyrinthine wilderness of the pine barrens, forever binding its existence to this desolate land. For centuries, the creature has been blamed for livestock mutilations, unexplained footprints in the snow, and terrifying encounters with terrified locals and unwitting travelers. The panic reached its peak in 1909, when thousands of people across South Jersey and even parts of Pennsylvania claimed to have seen the creature. Police officers, postmasters, and even prominent citizens swore they saw the beast, leading to school closures, factory shutdowns, and widespread hysteria. Descriptions varied slightly, but the core elements remained consistent. A high-pitched, blood-curdling shriek, a terrifyingly swift flight, and those glowing red eyes. The creature is often said to emerge from the deepest, most inaccessible parts of the barrens, crossing lonely roads in a blur of leathery wings and unnatural speed, sometimes leaving behind a trail of fear so potent it chills the very marrow of those who encounter it. Its presence is woven into the very fabric of the pine barrens, a constant, unseen companion to anyone brave or foolish enough to venture too far off the well-trodden paths. The phantom sounds of its flapping wings or its eerie shriek are still reported by those who venture deep into the wilderness, especially on moonless nights, a chilling reminder that some curses, once uttered, echo through generations, giving rise to living nightmares that haunt the very roads that traverse their ancient wild domains, a primal fear that whispers from the dense ancient woods. From the eerie silence of the pine barrens, our spectral highway leads us westward, across the vast plains and into the majestic, untamed wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, a land of ancient forests, towering mountains, and mist-shrouded valleys, where the air is clean and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. Here, along the winding logging roads, the desolate Forest Service tracks, and the occasional lonely highway that cuts through primeval woodland, dwells arguably America's most iconic and elusive cryptid, the forest sentinel, the Sasquatch of the backroads. Imagine driving your truck down a remote, unpaved road, miles from any cell service, the only companions the towering Douglas firs that loom on either side, their branches brushing the sky, creating a canopy that filters the sunlight into dappled patterns. Suddenly, a colossal, ape-like figure, easily 8 to 10 feet tall, covered in thick, dark brown or reddish-brown hair, strides with incredible speed and agility across the road, disappearing into the dense undergrowth on the other side, before you can even fully register what you've seen. This isn't a quick blur. Many credible accounts speak of a distinct bipedal gait, a powerful, muscular physique, and an intelligence in their deep-set eyes that belies their seemingly primitive appearance. These creatures, often referred to as Bigfoot, have been part of indigenous folklore for centuries, known by various names such as Sasquatch, meaning wild man of the woods. Unlike many cryptids associated with tragic events, the Sasquatch is more of a guardian of the wilderness, a reclusive elder statesman of the ancient forests, rarely aggressive unless provoked, but always possessing an overwhelming presence that fills the air with a strange, musky odor and an inexplicable sense of awe and profound otherworldliness. Accounts vary widely, from fleeting glimpses on remote mountain passes to the discovery of colossal, unexplained footprints, often measuring 16 to 24 inches long and deeply pressed into the earth, too large and heavy for any known animal. Some even report hearing haunting guttural calls or powerful wood knocks echoing through the dense tree line, sounds designed to communicate or perhaps to warn intruders away from their hidden territories. While rarely seen directly on major highways, the peripheral roads, the access points to vast national parks and forests are the true domain of this enigmatic giant. They are the threshold between human civilization and the deep, untouched wild, where such a creature could live for centuries, unmolested and largely unseen. The sheer number and consistency of eyewitness accounts, from seasoned hunters and experienced hikers to ordinary families on vacation, lends an undeniable weight to the legend, making it more than just a myth, but a persistent question mark against the backdrop of our scientific understanding. The deep woods hold secrets, ancient and profound, and the spectral highways that lead into them are often the only gateway, the thin membrane separating the known from the incredibly, unsettlingly unknown, leaving behind a lingering feeling that we are not the only or even the dominant intelligence that walks these vast, green cathedrals of the wilderness. Our final descent into the abyss of America's spectral roads brings us to the very concept of highways of echoes and phantom rides, a pervasive sense that some roads themselves are haunted, imbued with the sorrow, the terror, or the unfinished business of those who perished upon them, their very asphalt acting as a conduit for lingering energies. It's not always a specific entity, but a collective memory, a residual haunting that manifests as inexplicable phenomena. Imagine driving late at night on a long, straight stretch of road, miles from any other vehicle. The air grows inexplicably cold, your breath plumes in front of you, and then a faint, almost imperceptible sound begins to manifest. A distant siren, a faint whisper, or the ghostly clatter of a chain. This phenomenon is often reported on stretches of old highway where train accidents occurred, leaving the phantom sound of a locomotive's whistle or the grinding of metal against metal, years or even decades after the tracks were removed. Take, for instance, the many roads crisscrossing the battlefields of the Civil War, particularly in states like Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Georgia. Drivers report seeing shadowy figures marching across fields bordering the roads, hearing the distant echoes of cannon fire, or smelling gunpowder and blood, sensations that send a visceral jolt through the most skeptical observer. These are not merely stories, they are felt experiences, deep psychological imprints left on the landscape, activated by the stillness of night and the vulnerability of a lone traveler. Some roads are said to have gravity hills or mystery spots, where cars seemingly roll uphill, defying physics, often attributed to the mischievous spirits of children who perished nearby, still playing their games. One such infamous location is outside San Antonio, Texas, where legend claims a school bus full of children stalled on railroad tracks and was struck by a train. Now, if you park your car on the tracks in neutral, invisible hands are said to push your car safely across. While often explained away by optical illusions, the sheer emotional weight of the accompanying legend, the feeling of unseen presences, adds a layer of chilling authenticity to the experience. These aren't isolated events, but ongoing dialogues between the living and the spectral, where the roads become timeless stages for dramas that refuse to end. The hum of your tires might just be the prelude to a conversation with the beyond, a silent acknowledgement that the millions of miles of American highways are not merely pathways of progress, but enduring monuments to the countless lives lived, lost, and lingering upon their endless shadowed expanses. Every mile marker, every abandoned diner, every desolate stretch of blacktop might just be a signpost, not to a destination, but to an encounter with the eternal, leaving you to question if the journey you just completed was truly your own, or if you were, for a fleeting moment, a player in a drama woven by the threads of the past. And so, we bring our journey through America's haunted roads, spectral highways, and cryptid-haunted wilderness to a close. But as the last words echo and the silence of your own space envelops you, remember this: the stories we've shared tonight are not mere campfire tales. They are woven into the fabric of the land itself, whispered on the wind that whips across desolate plains, sung in the mournful cries of the unseen that linger in ancient forests, and carried on the very currents of air that rush past your vehicle on a dark, lonely night. Perhaps as you drive home or venture forth onto a new, unexplored route, you will look a little longer into the shadows at the edge of the road, listen a little more intently to the unexplained sounds that accompany your journey, and feel that familiar prickle on your skin, the subtle chill that suggests you're not entirely alone. For the truth is, the boundaries between the known and the unknown are incredibly thin, especially when the asphalt stretches endlessly before you, and the world outside your window melts into a canvas of impenetrable darkness. The spirits, the beasts, the echoes of tragedy, they are out there, waiting, perhaps watching, perhaps longing for a brief, fleeting moment of connection with the living. And as you pass through their ancient domains, you become, whether you know it or not, a part of their ongoing narrative, another silent witness to the unending, inexplicable mysteries that haunt the very roads we travel. So the next time you feel an inexplicable presence in your car, or catch a fleeting glimpse of something unidentifiable in the periphery of your vision, ask yourself, was it merely an illusion of the mind, or did you, for a brief, terrifying moment, brush against the true, unsettling reality of America's spectral highways? And what, precisely, did you bring back with you from that encounter, an unseen passenger now riding silently in your rearview mirror?